Hello, welcome back. My name is Kelsey Nez, and welcome to Kels Maker Company for MakerBot Guide. So right now we're gonna now we're gonna go through is the MakerBot Mini. So I'm gonna show you the process of how you actually input your files, which is the prints, and then after that we're gonna look at the printer to see how it looks like. So let's go begin. So right now what we're gonna do is open up our software, which is the MakerBot Print. So from the previous video, I showed you that how you can actually download the software. So if you haven't downloaded this software onto your laptop or your device, make sure you go to that video and that'll explain along the way. So now since we have this right now, you'll have this icon that has the M and it should be the MakerBot print. So I'm gonna double click it, open it, or open up mine, so we're good to go. Okay, so now we're on this the entire work area, and after that, we noticed that yesterday we tried to install the part or the printer. Right now, I'm going to show you right now to actually install that one onto here. So from your MakerBot Mini, make sure you have it next to your desk or onto a nearby location for your laptop or computer to be attached to your USB component. So right now I'm going to show you this right now onto another different video. Okay, so now you have the printer right here in front of you. Now what we're gonna do is plug in everything else, which is the power source right here, which is the 300 volt, and then the USB port, which is connected to the computer. So I'm gonna do is flip on the switch, power on. There we go. Next thing what we're gonna do is attach the USB port, which is this guy right here. So make sure to attach this USB port onto there. I'm gonna bring it a little closer just in case. So this is the USB port for your laptop. So we're gonna plug this in right here. I'm gonna attach this right there. There we go. Okay, now while this is loading up, this will take its own time, so let it render through. You notice that this light is blinking because right now this is telling us that one actually goes toward the Wi-Fi, so we're not worried about that one, and to tell us that to actually turn off the blinking light. So we're not gonna worry about that one. That's just telling us that's the Wi-Fi setting up. So now, once you hear that connection set up, you're good to go. And this was actually set up right away. Just gonna give it time. Okay. Now, while we're waiting for this right now on the computer, right now what we're gonna do is install our filament. So make sure in your box you actually been provided with a filament, which is this little small spool right here. So this is a very small one. So let me go compare to the other spool for the Replicator Plus. So this is the larger spool. So this is the big difference from the Replicator Plus and the Replicator Mini. So make sure to provide this one only. That's it until don't throw away this spool because this is the it'll come with it for your printer. I'm going to show you guys later on in the next video to actually see how you can transfer the larger spool filament onto the small one. Okay, as you can see, that one's now ready to go on the light. So I'm going to show you that one. Now I'm going to show you on the computer, which is over here. Let me zoom in. Voila. There we go. Okay, so on here, I'm going to bring this open. This one will tell us that it's already plugged in. There's a little symbol that has that USB port. And it tells us that it's going to be MakerBot Replicator Mini Plus. We're going to click on this once to open it. And this will actually open up the file, or actually open up the setup for the printer. Now, on the Replicator Plus, you notice that one has a screen, touch buttons, and the dial knob. Because this Mini, it doesn't have that, you have to plug it into your laptop so that way it'll begin the commands from the laptop onto the printer. So you have all the other functions onto here. So we have the filament, utilities, pause and cancel, which is the printing process. So I'm going to show you that one next. Okay, right now it is refreshing. It's still trying to like find the printer, so it's going to take a while for it to actually connect one another. Because this one's right now is still running through, it's on idle, and your extruder is 63 Celsius. So your filament or your heat nozzle is going to be in Celsius, not in Fahrenheit, because that actually tells us in the Celsius in a different way. You can change that one. Right now we'll stick with Celsius onto there. And onto your filaments too as well. Where's the onto the filaments? It'll give you the average. Okay, never mind. It doesn't have the filament or the temperature on there. Most of the time on the spools, they will give you the information of like how you actually heat it up, what's the heating temperature, and that go from there. But right now, I'll show you guys down later on in the future to actually how you research those ones onto the MakerBot. They have make some guides for you guys for you. Actually learn how you adjust your filaments. And also too as well, don't mix any type of filaments with this guy out there with the outside filaments. It will void your warranty. And also too as well, these MakerBot printers does not have, or the nozzle doesn't have the capability to actually print those ones. So don't mix outside filaments with this filament. Make sure it's the MakerBot filament brand, because again, they have different chemicals inside those filaments that can react differently, and also has to react toward the nozzle itself. So PLA, it's always all the same thing, but again, it's gonna void your warranty, and also I'm not sure how well your heating nozzle is gonna handle out the situation. Okay, so now while this is still waiting, I'm gonna go click on filament since it's still on loading. So right now we have these two features, which is the unload filament and load filament. Right now we're going to choose is load filament. So I'm gonna click on this one. There we go. So now it's in the process. Oh, there we go. So now it's giving us a warning that it's gonna start adding in our filament. Let's see here. I'm gonna try again. Load filament. There we go. Now it's saying preheat extruder. So what I'm gonna do is bring in our extruder over here. And after that, I'm gonna uninstall this right here, this hose, which is this one, and this one we can leave it on here because that'll be our guide inside the nozzle. Okay. So now, while that one's heating up, you'll grab your spool. We're gonna unwind it. Now, at the tip, you notice that it's kind of dull or it's kind of like a rounded. We don't want that. So what you gotta do is grab your two tools, either the side clippers, nose pliers, which has a side cutter, or a side cutters, so that way you can actually cut your nozzle. So, and what you gotta do is you gotta go at an angle. Make sure it's at an angle. Cut it. That flew somewhere else, which is okay. Kind of be careful with your eye, and that way you'll see a sharp point right here. So you notice it's kind of sharp, because the reason why it needs to be pointed, it'll be a guide filament inside the nozzle head. So if it's flat, it will not go inside the heat extruder, because inside of the mechanism it will clog it up, or it's gonna hold on to it right now. So if you have it like a point, it'll slide right in and you're good to go. So what I'm gonna do is like unspool about a few inches. I'm gonna slide this guy in. There we go. Then I'm gonna grab this other tubing right here. I'm gonna insert it inside. Then I'm just gonna guide it in. So I'm gonna do it manually. There we go. So now it's inside of it. I'm gonna put this guy back inside, and now that I'm gonna wait for it, the nozzle to actually go in. So I'm gonna open up this guy just for you guys to see this. So I'm gonna zoom in a little more toward this end. Right there. So it's about 186 Celsius. So right now, what we're waiting for is for this one inside the nozzle of this MakerBot. It has a smaller stepper motors, so it'll grab the filament and it's gonna feed itself into the heated nozzle. So kind of be careful from this heated nozzle too as well. It will get hot to 215 Celsius, or it's gonna be 400 Fahrenheit as it's gonna heat up. So don't touch it. So if you ever felt a hot burning iron, a clothing iron, if you accidentally touch it by accident, you know it's gonna get hot and you kind of burn yourself. Okay, if it's not sliding in, make sure you guide it inside until it actually catches it. There we go. Once it catches inside of it, I'm gonna bring this guy down here. You will see the nozzle or the filament will actually ooze out. So I'm gonna give it about a few more seconds, because that way it'll spool all the way through. Once you see it's already excess all the way through, you're gonna do is press OK on the computer. So I'm gonna bring this over to the computer. There we go. So I'm gonna press OK. As you notice that it's already spooled out, so we're good to go. So now your printer is ready to go. Okay, so now the next step is we're going to get your files onto here. So what it means is that you need to get a STL file of the part that you want. So today we're going to print out some calibration prints. So I'm going to show you that one, and then I'm going to show you how you transfer those parts onto the computer, and we're going to print them out to see how well it can handle it. So we're going to see if the printer can actually do what it's supposed to do. So I'll explain that along the way. Okay, now let's go online on the internet to actually download your files onto another source, which is called Thingiverse. So let's go onto the internet. Make sure you have good internet connection. Now that we're gonna go over here to our search engine, it can be anything else. Can be Google, Bing, Yahoo, or any other search engine. So So we're gonna type in Thingiverse. As you can see, it's already been typed in. So right now we're gonna go click right here, the main source of Thingiverse. If you can't find it right here, you gotta go over here to this site, to the website. You gotta click on thingiverse.com. Both way works the same direction. Okay. Once you log into here, over here at this top right corner, you will have is called the sign in or login. And once you click onto that one, you'll have two options. If you already have an account, you will make your you can actually sign in your information, your username and password. If you do not have an account, you have to create your account, and that will actually, if you do have the original account from your MakerBot, that should work the same way onto the Thingiverse. So that way, you have to like make your own, create your own account on that one. So just follow the instructions, so that way you'll log into it, and that way you'll access into Thingiverse. So on here on Thingiverse, it's a open community, 3D printing community, and that they do more designs and they do more work than as they are passionate for it. So, for example, they actually design it themselves, and that they can modify it on their own computers, whatever software they use, and that way they can actually transfer that one onto here to 3D printing communities if they want to share it, or they can actually make some vending it, which is like they can sell their design, and sometimes you can actually tip them too as well for their work, and that they have done very well, which I suggest you can give them some donations. You can give them like a little bit less to higher, wherever your amount is, because again, they did an amazing job on these items as a 3D community. Okay, and after that, if you can't find anything else on here, what you can do is go on my main channel under Chaos Maker Company, and then you'll find those other um, 3D printing engineering graphics, and those one I cover is the Tinkercad, Onshape, SolidWorks, AutoCAD, and other engineering graphics softwares that you can actually learn to actually make your own parts along the way. And also too, as well, I will include another one that's a bit more challenging, but again, it's a fun software that you can actually use to actually make these type of models, but it does take a long time for it to get a lot more details. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is type in test cube, because right now we're gonna try out some few things, which is test. I download a few of them onto my onto the download, so right now we're okay. But let's go download this guy right here. Let's go click our first one, which is the test cube. The reason why we want to try the test either cube or test print is because we want to know if your printer does what it's supposed to do, as in that does it print out as it should be, does it print out good quality, or does it print with the same print as this one right here if it wants to print this entire cube right here onto the printer. So we're going to do that one. So I'm going to go over here, and that's top right here. It's called download all files. Download this one. Okay, usually over here it will say the countdown says downloading in about a few seconds, and that will download onto your download file. Right now I think this has already been downloaded. Like I said, I downloaded before, and I'm going to exit. Once it's done downloading, you go over here, it'll say download right away. It'll bring down here, and it'll say download file type, etc, 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 filament test cube. And now that you'll open folder, you go down here, we go under downloads, and you'll find them right here. So right now I downloaded a few of them. It'll be the Marvin Key PETG test print, 20 millimeters calibration, all one printer, and the other one too as well, which is the filament test cube. Okay, and I open up, and then also too as well, I install my USB port, or my drive. So what I'm gonna do is click this right here, the hub, on my keyboard, hold down Shift button, use our mouse, click this last one on the file folder, which is called all-in-one 3D print. Select all of them, so it'll automatically select 4 items. Drag them on this side, and now you can copy from this folder from the download onto the USB port on your folder. Okay, so, and including the USB types too as well, it doesn't matter which USB USB ports anyways. It doesn't matter. You can actually choose up to 8 gigabytes, up to higher, maybe about 32, because again, we're not downloading that big files unless you want to save it later on in the future library. You can do that too as well. And yeah, again, it's still gonna be anywhere else. It could be in your downloads, it could be on USB port, or anything else. But again, it can be used differently on the 8 gigabytes to 36 or 32, I believe. No, 36, sorry. No, 16, 32, sorry. Okay, and once you're done with that, we're gonna close this down right here. We go to your series, right click it,
and we're going to do is eject it, so that way it'll eject it safely. So now it's been removed, we can actually remove that one, the USB port. And right now, let's go take this USB into our laptop and the printer, and let's go begin printing. Okay.
Okay, welcome back. Now we're gonna do is install our USB port onto our computer. So I'm gonna attach that one. Set to go. Now what we're gonna do is open up the. So I'm gonna transfer. Let's see here. Okay, right here, documents. I'm gonna transfer all those files onto here. So this is the one we have right now. It's gonna be. I'm gonna hold it down, hold down my shift, highlight everything else, and I'm gonna transfer these guys onto the document. So because that way everything else will be set to go. Right now, it's gonna take its time to download everything else. Okay, we're ready. Okay, good. So I'm gonna detach this USB. There's two ways you can actually transfer your printed parts onto your MakerBot. So one way you can do it is call add models. So there's two ways you can do it, either this one or this right here. Either way works. Open that. Make sure you look for your file location. So remember that one. So go on the computer, I go in documents and I found it. So now I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna try the cube calibration. Open the files, and there it is. So make sure it's under the type file STL. If you can't find it, it means that it's not on there, and you have to find another source to find that STL file. If not, you go back to the Thingiverse, re-download it again, and hopefully it does have an STL file. Make sure it has that STL. And now that you notice that this one has an M, it means that the MakerBot will actually accept the STL file, and it should accept other type of files too as well, which is OBJ, other 3D model. I will explain that one next time on a different video. So what I can do is click on this one. Once it's highlighted, it's been selected. Click open, and there we go. So there's your part. It's already on there. Another way you can do it, same thing, same method. You can actually add models, or you can actually open up this one. We're going to open up the Marvin key files. Same thing with the Marvin key. This time we're gonna do is, let's minimize the screen or this folder here. There we go. Okay, all I can do is hold it down on your keyboard. Hold it down, and then I'm gonna drag it, and you'll see the icon that says move. You can let go of it, and it'll drag itself onto here. So now you're good to go. So either way works, either add model, or you can drag it onto there if you can't find your folder's location. Okay, and I'm gonna load up the other four too as well. So I'm gonna open this one, go back, and then open up these guys again. Let's see. All in one. Oh yes, this is gonna be interesting. I can show you guys this one. Either way works. I'm gonna try STL. Okay, then I'm gonna add another one again right here. Okay, and I'll worry about the other folder later on. Okay, so now on these other three, you notice that they fit perfectly inside the cube area. And also to a reminder, this area, this little arrow is the front of the printer, and this printer right here is the size of the printer in reality. So this was simulated to show you that this is the exact measurement, and it should be the same size as one of your printing right now. However, from this one, if you have a red border, it means that this is oversized itself. So I'm gonna go bring it down here to, let's see, where's my access? Let's go try X. There we go. And I'm gonna center this guy. Even though if I try to arrange it onto the build plate, there we go. It's still too big, as you notice that. So orient this guy. So you notice that this is way too big. So I'm gonna go back to my settings and I will try to adjust it to the smaller size, or scale it down too as well for a smaller size. So I'm gonna show you guys that one next time on a different video. Right now, we're gonna select this right here, a little printer. We're going to simulate it, which is right here, estimate and print preview, which is underneath this model view. Click this guy, and it'll render through everything else. So right now, what it's doing is that it's going to create a toolpath for the print. So it's going to transfer the toolpath, convert it to G code, and this is what it looks like on the G code once it's being printed right on the process. So you notice that we have so many layers that's gonna print it out. So it's gonna go up and down, and you notice that it's gonna build up every now and then. Same thing with all the moves. So you gotta move this guy back and forth, and you notice that that's the tool path for the nozzle is gonna print out right away. So, another thing we have is our estimate material usage. We have the 4.39 grams. Make sure that's an important one. Write that down to 439 grams that is being used up. I will explain that one next time on a different video, why it's important to manage your materials later on in the future. And we have as the time estimate, it's going to be about 35 minutes, so we're good to go. And then we have these other four. Right now we have design material, which is the part that we're going to print out of the cube. Support material is the support is going to print onto the bed, preventing it to over, I would say, warping itself. So that was the term. Travel moves, we're not going to worry about that one. And layer height is the one that's the printer is going to print on those layer height once it's being printed out. Okay, once you got everything else down, what we're going to do is go back to model view. And then from idle, we're going to go over here, open this USB port. And everything else is now ready to go. We install our filament. Our bed is ready to go. And now what we're going to do is press print. And now we're going to look at this. There we go. And now everything else will be transferring everything else now. Okay, as you can see, right now we press print and now it's being calibrated. It means that it has to adjust itself, figure out what's the coordination is at. So right now everything's already input inside the computers by MakerBot company. And right now it's adjusting the Z height for the build plate to begin itself. And also it's going to adjust the nozzle where it's going to locate it at. So everything else is now good to go. And now what we're going to do is wait for the printer to load up onto here. And that's going to give us about... Okay, right now we're at 123 Celsius out of 215 Celsius. Okay, now for your filament, for the temperature, how you melt it, all PLAs, which is polylactic acid, it melts up to 200 Celsius to 225 Celsius, in between that range. If you do it under it, you're cooling it down, it's not going to print out, so it'll get stuck on the nozzle. Do it too hot, it will over extrude itself and it'll become oozing outward and you have a mess. So it kind of like prevent that one. What you're trying to look for is in between the range of what you want on your print. So it varies differently on different type of printing parts that you're looking for. And also too as well, just a reminder that I noticed that every printers, you notice that on different videos they have like a faster pace nozzle. That's fast travel time, so it's kind of like showing that you're printing it off or printing it in a quick time. So in reality, it will take slower to print because the slower it is, the better quality you'll have. So you'll have a better printing quality. So for example, printing quality will be like this right here. It'll be a little grouped. As you can see, the fine grain inside of it is very fine. But you notice it's kind of a little bit messy because onto the surface it's textured out. Another good example would be onto this PETG material. As you can see from the texture of it. Okay, now it's being printing. And finally, this was from the MakerBot printer. So this is what it looks like from the quality. You will get some like texture deformation, but it's okay because it was during the printing process. And also too, it depends on what settings you use on the printer. Okay, while it is printing right now, I'm gonna let it sit there, and you guys enjoy the show. Watch it print out along the way. Okay, I just heard the printer already printed out, and we're good to go. So now it's a success. Now what we can do is remove it. So what we can do is remove the platform like this. Just gonna slide it out, and that's it. And all you do, this thing's not flexible, so this is rigid. So you can actually like kind of like bend just a little bit, or you can actually grab the top of it if you have more room. Grab it, and it should remove as is. And you got to remove this guy too. That's excess material. That's it. Slide it in. There we go. Now, on this one, the cube, it does have a removable platform. So you can just do is remove this raft right here. And there you go. It's just easily removed. That's it. If you find one that's kind of stubborn or that's really stuck onto it, then you have to do, and I would say kind of be careful to remove it. I will show you guys next time on a different video to show you how you remove supports and any stubborn supports as well that's fused onto your print. And that's it. And here it is. Good quality print. It did what it's supposed to do. There's like a little bit of a droop right there onto the X. Same thing with the Y, but it's okay as long as it does its job right here. Alrighty, we're good to go. Alright then, and that's it. That's all I have for today right now. So hope you enjoyed this video, and that if you learned a lot more about the Mini Plus, congratulations. And then give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe my channel for more future videos for these MakerBots printers. So, alright then. Alright then. Goodbye.